What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Free Spirit Tarot. I am Poetry. You are here to learn Lenormand with me. Okay, I'm going to be doing several videos as I go through this process of learning how to read Lenormand, as we call them here in America, Lenormand cards. I learned that these cards are created by a French person, so it should be pronounced Lenormand. Okay, I think I got the accent correctly, child. Don't get me wrong. This deck I have here on my left is my mystical Lenormand or Lenormand. And then I also have the Celtic Lenormand. And I'm showing you both cards because both decks have different designs that are within these cards. Now, I have some cards that are similar as far as like the numbering system and things like that. My Kipper cards, shows the community, it shows a house, shows a main female. You will see some of these themes still show up in the Lenormand cards, right? I have two sets of both. So that's my Kipper. And when I do read Kipper, you'll see me use a German style of reading the Kipper cards. There may be others. I only know the German style. But here's also my Barbie cards or Kipper cards. These aren't numbered, so you got to pretty much know the numbers. And like the way I read, I use the MasterCard method, and the MasterCard has certain cards marked to be masters, which means you'll pull them out and then you'll use other cards underneath to clarify. So you have to know exactly what those numbers are or what the names are to relate to them. The Thoughts card is indeed a master card, right? The Thief card is not, but I would have to have my chart in order for me to know that. I don't know these by heart. I don't try to memorize a lot of them by heart. It's the Thoughts card. Let me look at that again. The Thoughts card is a master, yeah. Long distance in this deck is long distance, yearning, time apart, difficult goodbyes. There is no long distance card in this one. There's a journey card, you know what I'm saying? So that maybe means the same thing. But this one, there was no book that came with it, Was no book that came. I love these cards though. There was no book that came with it. I hope my ring light is not going to shine too much light on the cards because I just had to get a new one because the other one was going out. My desk mount does not work for me. It does not fit on my desk. I have a frame and it doesn't allow for the anchor to be anchored to the frame itself. So that's why I'm showing you two different cards though, because these people who design these decks sometimes try to throw their own flavor into them, which changes, a basic meaning of how these cards have been read. In this video, if you're still here with me, what I'm going to be doing is just going through the cards and identifying what the cards are by their card number and the image. I'm not going to be looking at the zodiac symbol in the corner. I'm not going to be looking at the pip playing card number in the corners either. In my readings, nobody I know are using those except for one person, and she's not in the courses that she's breaking down on YouTube. She hasn't got to that point yet. She has like 9 videos. And somehow I skipped straight to video number 7 because the main thing that I noticed was the grand tableau. And I'm learning that you probably should not start with the grand tableau. The grand tableau is where you use all the cards in order for you to give a reading, or you lay out all the cards. You may not even read all of the cards that you lay out. That's one of the things. So there's several different spreads. There's a 3-card spread. There's a 5-card spread, a 9-card spread, a moon cycle spread, a year spread, the grand tableau spread. And I've seen the grand tableau in 2 different ways. They still lay them out the same way, but they still read them differently. I am an intuitive reader when it comes to tarot. So what I try to do is look at the image that's on the card and use that image to help me determine what the message is it's trying to bring. I do still look at textbooks, but I don't study the textbooks or guidebooks, okay? But I do want to learn, some basic knowledge, and that's what I wanted to do with this Lenormand cards, is learn the basic knowledge, because I didn't understand what half of these stuff meant, because some of them, don't have characters. They just have images of something like the 4-leaf clover. And there's like a dancing 4-leaf clover with 2 ladybugs. So, of course, that represents luck to me, but I have to look to see exactly if that really means luck. So like I said, I'm just going to go through the cards themselves. One of the things that I did learn that is supposed to be consistent amongst all Lenormand cards is the questions that you ask of these decks. Okay? It's said to be more effective than your question needs to be very specific, which makes using Lenormand cards kind of difficult for general readings on YouTube, as we don't know who you are face to face. Which is probably why I use like a lot of my Kipper cards when I do personal readings, but I'm not doing personal readings at this time. However, so an open-ended question basically is a question that asks how something may happen or what will happen. You can use will something happen, but will is kind of a closed-end question because it leads you to give an answer like yes or no. Although you can give yes or no answers using Lenormand cards, the main goal is to find a specific answer to whatever question or problem that you may have. Another thing that I found too is that, well, one of the methods that I found is stating that when you read these cards, you should start with the gender affiliation with the person who's asking the question. So let me jump through real quick because I know it's like card 28 and 29. Oh, it's too many in that one. We're going to get to that deck later. Okay, I think this one has simple, yeah. So the number 28 card is the male. The number 29 card is the female. And it's represented by the male, female signet there. So usually with the person who's answered the question, whether they identify as a male or a female, determines where you actually start reading in the grand tableau. But being that the grand tableau uses all 36 cards and a lot of decks have duplicate cards. Let me go back to that male. Has 2. How do I determine which one I'm going to use? So that's where my own intuition is going to come and play a factor in. I'm going to show you how I'm being taught using the YouTube videos and the information I'm finding on the internet about how to read these, plus using the books as well. Did I show y'all the mystical Lenormand and the okay, just in case I didn't show y'all. So being that there's a lot of non-binary people that have came out of and expressed themselves, how do you determine whether it's male or female then? They're considered non-binary. So I guess you could ask them which one they feel more comfortable using. Yeah, I don't know how you would determine that unless you specifically leave all the cards in the deck, you know? So that's another thing that I'm going to have to learn how to address properly as I'm learning this process. If you haven't seen that tag video, I meant to mention this earlier. It's by Feeding My Soul 1212. I'll put the link to the video down in the description of the video. I'll be able to tag it later. YouTube doesn't allow me to edit until after the video has fully loaded. So that way you can see the questions that was asked. And again, this is one of the things that I wanted to do a deep study on. And I plan on learning this system by the end of this year. Okay. So like I said, this particular video, if you're sticking around, like the video. If you are sticking around and you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And you'll learn as I learn. If this is something that is of interest to you. Using my decks. I don't know how many videos it's going to be. I don't know. I talk a lot, as y'all can see. I'm already 9 minutes in, and I haven't showed y'all a doggone thing on this table. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and see what we can do. I'm going to put these side by side. And I probably could have made this closer. Let's see. Yeah, I got them closer. So that way you could actually see the cards themselves. All right, so this card is the number 1 card. Again, I'm not looking at the pip playing card number. And in this particular deck right here, let's see if I can leave them up there and you can see them. Since I'm not doing a spread, I should be able to. Child. I should have thought this through. I should have thought this through more better. Yeah, Put them back to the side. Okay, because I want them in frame. You see what I'm saying? Alrighty, so mystical is on the left, Celtic is on the right. So our mystical only gives us the number one card. And our Celtic, it gives us 2. Okay. So I printed out a list here. I have my list right here, just in case. So I'm reading exactly what these books have said the writer means. And I've actually pulled from 4 different sources to make my list. So this is not all specifically what this one particular deck says or this one particular deck says. It's what I accumulated from the different sources that I'm studying from. So the writer brings good news, or it sets some things in motion. However, if there is a negative card that is behind it, then that means that they are bringing bad news and it's coming quickly. So when you think of behind it, you look at the actual image on the card. This writer is heading this direction. So this is behind it using one method of reading. Okay. Another method that was stated was everything to the right side is the future. Everything to the left side is the past. So as I get more detailed into reading these cards, hopefully it'll all make sense. But so using the first example, if I had the clouds card show up right here, this could mean that that something that the writer is heading towards something in the past, or something in the past is going to surface quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because the clouds is something coming. So the message is going to be coming, but it's going to be coming information from your past. If this card here and that cloud was here, it's saying that there's going to be some bad news that's going to be coming forth or going to be set in motion. It's going to be happening to your future. Okay, that's how that's read. Mm-hmm. All right. But like I said, for right now, we're just going on trying to get what here's the backs. If y'all didn't see the backs of these decks. Just to figure out what these meanings are. So the number 2 card is the clovers. So this clovers look like it's a dancing clover. It's flowering. It has some ladybugs there as well. These are male ladybugs. And this clover here is set by a coin. And what this could possibly tell us, what I'm seeing, that this is going to be good luck and cheer, and it's going to be a lot of good luck because you got the ladybugs as well. You're going to feel good about it. You're going to be happy about it. In this particular card here, I'm showing that this, if you, the first thing that you notice is the coin on here, then this is something that value is not going to change. Okay. In this particular, if I looked at that and I noticed this clover first, then the value of it may differ. You don't know what the worth is yet of what's coming to you. Okay. So the coin, if I noticed that first, that's saying I know the dollar amount of what's going to happen, what's going to come to me, what's the monetary worth. So when I look it up, it says it brings a small amount. The clover leaf brings a small amount of luck and or hope. And if it's close to the person, but if it's closer to like the dark side of the clouds, I'll show that later, it can mean that it can be unlucky, or it can make the things that we're looking at that we find to have worth less valuable. You see all these doggone definitions, child? This is why it could be confusing and why I need to study this. Okay. The number 3. They call this the boat or the ship. If it's next to a person card, which is cards number 28 and 29, we'll get to them later. I don't know why they put them so far back in the deck. If it's next to a person card, it could mean that this person has a long journey ahead. It could also mean that there's wealth due to an inheritance coming. There may be a thriving business coming. It also could mean freedom. And if there's something that's bad coming up behind the ship, then you're trying to escape it. It's some darkness that you're trying to escape. And like I say, it's all going to matter what cards come around it. Because when you read the Lenormand cards, I got enough down here right now just to give you an example. If you read Lenormand cards, let's just say it's 2 more cards here. I'll just put this here just to be, once you read the cards, you'll say, what the heck did I say? I turn it over? I did turn it over. Once you read the cards, let's say I'm looking at this right here. I want to learn something about whether or not my business is going to succeed. I read the cards around me, whether in twos or I could read it in a sentence, and it'll help me determine what the message is I'm supposed to learn. Okay. Look, I'm getting ahead of myself. Because I'm supposed to be just giving y'all what the meaning of these cards are. Getting ahead of myself. All right. So next up, we have the number 4 card. It is a house. And like I say, in this particular one, the 4 is there in the corner. But there are some Lenormand cards out here that you can't read the numbers. So you will have to know what it means. None of these have the words indicated on it that this is a house. Okay. None of these have the words. There are Lenormand cards out there that has the words. I'm trying to find one, because they have this thing when you're reading too that you have to know the houses. I don't know the cards that much. The houses are basically identified with what number the card is. So the Rider card is actually number 1. So that's considered the Rider's house. So I may have one of these cards sitting on top of the number 1 or in the number 1 position. So whatever. So like say if this 4 is sitting up in the number 1 position, the very first position, that means that there is some good news or something coming from about my house. Some good news. Okay. If there's some storks or something around, child, that means that the house, you may be moving or the house may be moving or something like that. But that's what the 4 means. The 4 is a home, secure place. And if it's with storks, it denotes a moving house. Number 5, trees. It indicates, oh shoot, this has 2 trees. They have 1 tree that's coming up in the wintertime, 1 tree that seems to be like in the spring. So one may be a little bit barren, things of that nature, okay? Tree represents health. It could represent health problems. It also could represent your ancestry, the tree of life. Something that has to do with genetics, the family members. So those are the things that you can gather from the tree. And again, they have 2 different versions. If I am doing out a grand tableau, who am I to choose what 2 versions to use or what version is going to be applicable to that person? So I would leave both of them in a deck and just deal out 36 cards. That would be how poetry would do it. And I don't see any other person on YouTube that I was studying do it that way. So I may be creating my own method of doing so, It may be. I just haven't seen them. The number 6, these are those infamous clouds that we're talking about. The clouds bring forth the unclear situation. The light side is something that's improving. The dark side means the situation is deteriorating, or there's something bad happening on that side. All right, we got the snake. The Celtic has 2 different snakes. They have 1 snake that looks like it's ready to strike and attack. And they have another snake that looks like it's transforming, shedding its skin, starting anew. Okay. This snake is just guarding its baby, guarding its eggs. King, maybe it's a king cobra with the king's hat on, sitting up on top of an individual island all alone by itself, untouchable. That's what it's so much I'm seeing in this card. But the snake means betrayal, falseness, lies, detour. I don't see none of that when I look at these cards. This one, I see danger. This one, I just see a transformation, a transformative side. So when I look at my book here, let me look at what they got the clouds snake here. This card indicates betrayal, falseness, lies, and detours. Okay, well, shoot. Okay, it says the same thing. Let me see what this Celtic one says, since it gave me two different snakes. Okay, the snake shedding, transformation, cycles, renewal, intelligence. Where's the other snake? Oh, it's right here. The fierce snake, temptation, seduction, detour, intelligence, deception, sarcasm, betrayal, false, and lies. Now, if you kind of want to associate this snake with an actual person, it's a woman. Unless that's how they design these cards. In theory, the snake is a woman. It's a girlfriend. It's your sister. It's your lady friend. Not your mother though, but your girlfriend, your sister, or your lady friend. Okay. I don't know why. I haven't got that far into my studies, but that is a lot of these cards, when they're talking about persons, represent women. It's very few in here that represent men. All right, so we got the number 8, which in this deck is the coffin. Most of the ones I've seen online have an actual coffin. This has a sarcophagus and a tomb. Interesting. Okay, so basically something is coming to an end. If these cards show up next to a person, the male or the female card, it represents disease, sorrow, and death. All right, the number 9 card is the flowers. Card of luck. You may receive an invitation to something, a gift, or possible engagement. The scythe is another interesting card. You have to look at the way in which the scythe is presented. The tip of the scythe means that there's danger. Okay. If there's good cards near the danger card, if there's good cards to the right, and these two is both the right. If there's good cards near it or luck cards near it, that means that you're going to be able to avoid the danger. Okay. These also mean that something will happen suddenly, and that means it could be ending or beginning very suddenly. I saw another reader that was talking about the tip of the handle. It's supposed to mean something else. I didn't jot that down in my notes. So if there's something that you know about the tips, then you can let us know here. Put it in the comment section. All right. So what we got next is the 11 card. This is the broom. This says whips. I see a whip there. I do not see a whip in this card. Do y'all see a whip? I see a broom. I see a broom and whips there. All right, let me look it up. Celtic Lenormand. I guess I need to just leave the doggone book out. Because what are you supposed to be? They are speaking directly towards the birch rods. Arguments, tongue lashings, violence, repetition, conflict, purging, abuse, intensity, sports, addictions, dancing, trance, sweep, and broom. They are looking at the birch rods themselves. But the typical Lenormand deck, these are whips. And the whips basically have the same meaning. Arguments, scathing disagreements, abuse. You know, if it's next to that scythe card that we just looked at, it's some serious danger. An accident may happen. You know, somebody's in a harmful way. Abuse is going on. You know. All right. So, boy, I got a lot to get through this video. 12 is birds. In a typical deck, it's owls. In the Celtic deck, they're giving us birds, 3 different some type of bird. They gave us chickens, and they gave us some other birds and other birds. But it's normally owls, which represent nervousness, sorrow, It could also represent 2 elderly women or phone calls being made. I'll have to look at these to see exactly what these mean in this deck and apply my wisdom to that. Oh, shoot. Here's some more owls. Okay, my goodness. They gave us 3 of them. They gave us 3 different versions in this deck. But again, who am I to pick which one is supposed to be applicable to your reading? All right. 13. Is this a child? 13 is a child. This could represent your own child, a new beginning, that some matter is minute or small in nature, childish behavior. It could represent teenagers, daughters, a lady lover, or a woman. Again, most cards apply to being a woman. Next one is there's a more child card. My goodness. So this deck is pretty much giving us 2 and 3 of everything, at least. I guess this is the boy and the female? The male and the girl? Okay. So the fox. All right. Warns against falseness. It's an indicator that something could be wrong. If it's with the house, like the fox house means the wrong house. If it's with the anchor, it could be your wrong job. In combination with positive cards, it could be something that's cunning or clever, Bear, 15. This bear is messing with some bees. This bear got a fish in its mouth. But it's a good card. It's a card of luck. It stands for power, strength, possession, wealth. It could represent an older person, a grandfather, an ex-husband, or lover. 16. What is this supposed to be? The stars. Okay. It's a card of luck. It's also a positive card. It indicates a matter that will succeed. So it's a success card. It also speaks towards your spirituality, your psychic powers, and astrology as well. All right, here's that stork card that I brought up a couple times. It denotes change. So when we have the stork with the house, your house may be moving, it may be mobile, but you may be moving homes, you know what I'm saying? Moving houses could be new or a new beginning. And this also is a kind-hearted woman. 18. A dog. It's friendship, but this is a cat. Okay, so here's the dog too, because some people don't even like dogs. So we got you a cat and a dog, and this one is definitely just a dog only. Friendship, someone reliable. Could be the son, brother, a young man, or a lover. Those are your male options for this card. 19. The tower. This doesn't look like a tower to me, like it's like a castle. But it's supposed to be the tower card. It represents authorities. It represents isolation, a little bit of loneliness, a separation that has yet to come. And if it's by a person, it could be identify them as a person with a lot of power. That's why I said I was going to probably do some political reads with these. 20 is a park. It's a public place, open place, where a lot of people are coming together. It could be concerts. It could represent a hospital, a city fair or something. It indicates that a lot of people are involved. That's what it indicates. All right, let me get my list. Okay. All right, so then we have the mountains. Ooh, mountains. Okay. It represents an obstacle, a blockage, something that needs to be overcome, or that whatever you're working on or doing is not working. And it also indicates a very powerful enemy, when you're talking about a person. Okay. Paths. I don't know why, but I love this card. In every deck that I have that is showing crossroads of some sort, I love the cards. A path is a place that you confront a decision. So you see they're walking along that path and they get to this fork in the road. They have to decide whether they're going to go down this path. It's like unknown red mountains. It seems, or that they're going to go down this one. It's a windy road. Looks to be like it's greener pastures, Where are they going to turn around? This one also, just coming up on this pathway, this one looks like danger. The road is windy and hilly. This one seems to be a smoother path. Does that mean it's taking you to the proper destination? choices. That's what that basically is about. 23, the mice of mice and men. Okay, the mice represents loss. It represents sorrow, theft. If it's next to a person, something is really nagging at that person. If it's in combination with the coffin, and I read when I was thumbing through one of these books, that coffin cards, because I had a tombstone that had a sarcophagus, it also means burial grounds in one of these two decks. Okay, but if it's next to that particular card, then it could be that a disease is coming, and it also, if you're talking about it being a person, you're talking about a thief. Doesn't matter the gender. All right, the heart cards. I realize I'm not leaving them on the table anymore. The heart cards represents love, kind-heartedness, and if it's in combination with the coffin or a cross, it indicates that you could be lovesick or heartbroken. 25. The ring indicates a partnership or marriage. Well, it's like, where's the ring? There it is, right there. Indicates a partnership or marriage. It indicates connection. If this card is facing a person, which this one would be based on the bird, if it's facing a person, it's connection. If it's behind the person, it indicates that the relationship may end. So the person is facing this card. That's what they meant to say. Okay. 26. The book. It denotes secrets, something that may be hidden. I've seen some decks where the book is actually open, and in that case, I would consider it to be an open book. But if it's next to a sun or next to a key card, it can mean whatever secrets this was hiding is about to be revealed. It also could represent a contract, large amount of knowledge. Message. This is a letter, basically meaning that a message is on the way soon. It's almost similar to the writer card. That also represents that a message is on the way. And soon is the key word. All right, so here we got these males. In this particular deck, they gave us two males. One who was more like peasant or normal person or with a commoner, and then one that's a more royal stature, and then this one you just have the male. He has a pet weasel in this one. I don't know why, but he has a pet weasel. And so the man basically represents the person asking the question. Okay. But it could also be, if there's a woman present or next to the card, whether that person is the future partner. Or like if the querent themselves, it could represent them in the present. No, not them in the present. It represents their current or future partner, or if it's or a man that she feels closest to. Oh, that seemed like my tongue got tied there. We have the woman, the female. All right. Again, we have a commoner. We have one a little bit more royal status in that particular deck. This one, for some reason, has a pig child. Again, this is the querent, the person asking the question. It represents a future partner of a male that's asking the question, or a woman that they may feel the closest to. All right, the 30 card, lilies. These lilies are in full bloom and these are not. Interesting. So the lilies represent family, your family life, harmony, support, and it also represents your sexuality. I think this is the only card that we've had so far that is geared towards your sexuality. Y'all know I'm a sexual being. I love the idea, the practice of, all of that. Next, talking to the moon. Interesting, because this is supposed to be the sun card. Wait a minute. Am I missing a card? This was from 30 to 32. Where's the... Is this supposed to be 31? That look like 37. I put that in that order because it looked like a 7. This supposed to be 31. Okay, here we go. Now the sun. And here comes the sun. All right, there we go. The sun card. It's a very, very, very positive card. It represents success. It represents energy, your willpower, your optimism. If you have a yes or no question, it represents a positive reply. Okay? Now, we're talking to the moon. I had to do it again. Okay, anywho. So, this is also a card representing success. It also represents acknowledgement, a possible promotion, tapping into your intuition, your psychic powers, tapping into your soul. Okay, so this is the second card we have that's dealing with our spirituality. This is the key that we brought up a couple of times now. It means that something is 100% certain and it will be successful. It is a positive card. Opening doors. It opened doors for you. You know what I'm saying? Unlocks knowledge. The phrase, the key to your success. That's where that probably stems from. Fish. The fish represent money. In my culture, dreaming about fish represents somebody being pregnant, child. And I may apply that to this card. Because again, some of these readers, some of these creators apply our own meanings and messages. Because that's what I see when I see fish. And when I see a bunch of fish like that, this fish right here are scavenger fish. They go after what they want. But they take anything. They eat the crumbs off the bottom of the ocean floor. They clean up the ocean floor. These fish right here is just a school of variety. I see diversity, working with others. You know, I see a lot of different things. Exist in society, coexist in society as one. This one seems like more not really being diverse, having diversity there, just all more unified is what I'm seeing here, but it's still working with the team. See, I hate to be political, but I will see this as Dems, liberals, and I see this as conservatives. Get off my door, dog. My dog is banging her head up against the door. You might want to go outside. I only got 2 more cards left anyway. These are the anchor card. There's a stork on this anchor card, which I found fascinating. But the anchor card basically represents your job, hardworking person, stability. And if you want to you look at the cards around it. If your question is about your career or your job field, then you look at this card. If you're looking for specific topics, I want to know about my job, then you will find the stork in your spread, and then you'll read the cards around it. So you wouldn't be looking for a specific person. Okay. If you're looking for specific time, I'm learning. I told you, I'm gonna get to it. Quit banging up against my door. 36. They consider this the cross that destiny is about to test you. It got to mean more than that, right? Let me see what it means in the Celtic book. Destiny is about to test you. Is that the only meaning of that? Burdens, ethics, religion, selfishness, selflessness, spirituality, your destiny, pain, distress, suffering, regret, my God, remorse, dogma, faith, charity, mercy, devotion, a talisman, morality, redemption. Our verbs associated with this was to suffer, to believe, or to bear witness. Interesting. That is all we have for these cards. And like I said, I'm going to continue on as I learn more about the cards and how to do certain spreads and things of that nature. And then I'll show you those. So many different methods that I came across. Like I say, reading direction. You're looking at which way these cards are facing. Looking at subject matters. Like I say, if I want to find out what's going on, what message that I need to know, the writer is the message. That's the subject matter. In the grand tableau, I'll place one down for you. You will place these cards across in a row of 8. I'm not going to do all of them because I'm running out of camera space. Okay, so basically a row of 8, and then I'll have all of them down there. And then the final row will be a row of 4 with the grand tableau. Come on, poetry. Get it together, girl. Get it together. So yeah, you will have like 4 rows of 8, okay? And then you have the bottom row of just 4. These bottom ones will actually give us timing within a time frame of 8 to 12 weeks. So yeah, when I get to the grand tableau, child, it's gonna be awesome saucy. So then I can read like the direction. So if I want to go top diagonal, that could be my conscious influences. Bottom to the left is my unconscious influences. Top to the right, my conscious possibilities. Bottom left is unconscious possibilities. Bottom left. Yeah. Bottom left, that's wrong. Bottom right, unconscious possibilities. Then I also have like, try to read my list here. I think that's all I got on my list. Is use direction. Like say if I had the rider and it's going towards here, this is something that's going behind them. What's going to the right? If I had the male and this is something that's going in front of him, so I'll be looking at, this is the past, this could be the future, this could be what's ahead of them, this could be what they're leaving behind, different things like that. It's so many different things. I find these fascinating. I find these cards fascinating. If you read Lenormand cards, let me know in the comment section, and let me know how you feel about the readings that you have been able to do with them. And are you able to do general readings here on YouTube? Because if so, I would like to watch some of your videos to see how you give those as a general reading. Like I said, because on YouTube, you don't know who the person is you're talking to. You have a group of people watching your videos and you're trying to get messages that those people who are watching at that time can resonate with, or they may feel something from. Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this as a video on YouTube. I would have to leave it for personal experiences only. But by December, I shall know because I am studying every day. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. This has been the Free Spirit Tarot. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, not to the channel more, to the channel, just hit the thanks button. That's down there right there next to the like button. And you can make a donation to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace.